Lucky Lefty Nation, what's good with it? Welcome to the Lucky Lefty podcast. This is the Slant mashup with the preview of Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Early start than what we've been used to for most home games this year. We've had a lot of night games, a lot of 3:30 p.m. starts. This one is going to be 2:30 p.m. Eastern, hour earlier, as the Yellow Jackets invade Notre Dame Stadium. And it's senior day, Senior day is emotional, man. Through the years, all of the games that I've watched on senior day, it always seems like you should be able to blow the team out because you're never facing like a top tier team. On senior day, it's usually a team that you are heavily favored against, a team you should beat, but somehow, some way, you think by the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, some seniors should be able to get into the game. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case a lot of times under Brian Kelly. But once again, the Yellow Jackets come in after getting blasted by Boston College. This is the fourth straight defense that is awful. And Notre Dame is going to be facing, Phil Jacovic coming back from injury, put up 300 in the air. And then they were able, Boston College, to gain 200 on the ground against this Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets defense. You can remember highly touted safety from my recruiting class back in 2018, I believe. Derek Allen transferred to Georgia Tech. He's recently just getting on the field the last two games. Really hasn't cracked the code of becoming the player that he's projected to be for the Yellow Jackets or as safety for Notre Dame before he transferred. So it's just an interesting game. We'll dig deep into that a little bit later on. But, of course, we have to give you the slant. We were extremely honored and blessed to be a part of the mailbag on Irish Breakdown on yesterday. Well, I call him Unc, Malik. Sure, OG at Notre Dame. The OG. Reggie Brooks joined us along with Brian Driscoll. And thank you so much to Brian Driscoll and Vince DeDario for allowing us to be a part of that. Raised over, I think, just slightly under $8,000 for those in need, to give them some hope, a nice meal and some warmth and some other things for this Thanksgiving holiday, and eternal blessings to everyone out there, not just in IB Nation, but also in Lucky Lefty Nation. As always, we're featured, brought to you by Notre Whiskey, NoreWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey. Go ahead and go to NoreWhiskey.com. Get some of that to sip on.
Get that.
Last three games of the season, the two regular season games, and then hopefully a berth in the college football playoff. So, breaking news late yesterday, which might impact Notre Dame, and Notre Dame having to make a decision. I want to get the spin on this, and let's spin it a little bit different for everybody out there listening. Mel Tucker got the bag. He got the bag, which puts LSU in a very difficult spot. Everything we're hearing about the LSU search is they're not going for anyone from a smaller college to bring them to the big time. They want somebody that's big time, a big time hire, big time coach, whether it's, stealing Texas A&M's coach, Jimbo Fisher, whether it's getting Bob Stoops to come out of retirement. They're swinging big.
Yeah.
And so that brings to mind that maybe Marcus Freeman might not be in that type of echelon because he's never really had a head coach position. This would be his first, but you have to believe he would pique interest not only from LSU, but from other teams as this coaching carousel begins to go around at the end of the season. So with all of that being said, what's the domino effect of Mel Tucker's big deal, 10 years at Michigan State?
Well, one of the things is that the price is going up.
You think?
These schools are trying to secure the coaches they feel like got some grit to them that can last longer than just a short stint there.
Yeah.
But then again, college football likes to recycle a lot of the same guys a lot of the time too. So it's not like they're picking from a huge bag to begin with. So
That's
this
true.
only narrows the bag to about two or three people every time. But in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of great coaches. I think LSU trying to grab a big name. I mean, the only big names you can go to have an impact like that is Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, or Ryan Day, or even Coach Kelly. What I mean? So in order to get a coach at that caliber, it's not even that many that's doing it right now. So I think that's just kind of what the expectation they set up uh, for what they want. But that's just like anywhere. Everybody wants to get a good coach. So this ain't nothing too special. Obviously, for LSU to be a highly touted program, I wouldn't say they're top five like we are, but they're a highly touted program. People like talking about them a lot. But for them to still not be able to find a solid coach like a Nick Saban, like a Urban Meyer, it just kind of puts LSU to where they are any other time like Florida. They're just kind of the same level.
Yeah,
So
unless the thing. This is the funny thing, bro. Like you always have like that up and coming generation of young
mhm,
coaches, right? That are
mhm.
popping and are able to lead tier three teams to surprise seasons, 10 wins, nine wins, a big bold win against a tougher team. And it seems like the guys like Matt Campbell that was in that group a couple years ago, James Franklin that's been in that group, seems like they fizzled at their spots, and they really aren't the candidates that most people thought they would be right now. So, like exactly what you just said, there that kind of lessens the pool for these schools that are looking for big time hires when the guys that they thought would be big time candidates at this time, the resume is not as sparkly as they might have thought, or doesn't have as much pizzazz as they thought they would have at this point in time.
Well, most of those guys too are just great recruiters. James Franklin is a great recruiter, not a great coach. You wouldn't go to James Franklin to be like, man, I gotta learn how you run that offense, or man, I gotta get those tips on what you put in on defense.
I don't know. He can't recruit. Well, you know what? There's a lot of teams that can't recruit that quarterback.
Right. Yeah. That's the quarterback is like, that's more on the quarterbacks that are available less than recruiting. You can
Yeah.
some of these you it's not a lot of Trevor Lawrences that you can just find outside of just the one Trevor Lawrence. So for guys like that, what Coach Kelly was able to do, which keeps him in that upper tier, is that he's a phenomenal recruiter of staff and players, but he can coach a little bit. He can put some X and O's together more so than I would think of James Franklin or one of these other guys. Now, I mean, if you're looking at the NFL, how they go, they're going young. So Matt LaFleur, I mean, Coach Kelly had Matt LaFleur as our quarterback coach. So
Yeah.
that tells you how good of a job Coach Kelly does on his end in recruiting. But Coach LaFleur was young, and he's still young. And the trend of what football is turning into, where it's the AAU style of things with Patrick Mahomes coming on the scene and how that develops. A younger style coach just fits more of the team setting that you have to fit as a coach now. You can't pull the Lou Holtz out and think that's going to change a program on a player's perspective. You got to kind of Marcus Freeman style, young, fit dude, got the Jalen Rose haircut, the fresh line. It just fits with kind of just the trend of how football is. It's just a younger man sport.
And once again, this is the Lucky Lefty podcast. The slant mashup with the preview show, Notre Dame versus Georgia Tech. We'll get to Malik's three keys to a dub and look at both sides of the ball heading into this matchup on Senior Day, 2:30 p.m. start at Notre Dame Stadium. So as this carousel starts to move, and we talked about those young coaches that 2 years ago looked like they were going to be big time hires for these programs. So now you have to really, like you said, go get a coach from another school and steal them away, which LSU with all the same guy that hired Jimbo Fisher to come to Texas A&M and leave Florida State has left and become the athletic director over at LSU. So you
I
have
mean,
to.
do you think there's a lot of coaches to even choose from?
You know what? That's what I'm saying. It's like one of those, years where the crop is really nah.
Like you fire Ed Ogeron right now, boom, gone. What's a better coach than Ed Ogeron that's even available right now? You're gonna start thinking of people like Mark Richt.
I mean, they swung for Mel Tucker, and Mel Tucker. We both said that we hoped Mel Tucker would say no.
Yeah,
at the time, because we just felt like
Mel Tucker safe up there in Big Ten country.
Yeah,
SEC, you don't want to.
Despite his relationship with LSU and being coaching there, it was just better for him to stay at Michigan State and to continue to do well with what he's established. It's his program now.
Right.
It's absolutely his program, and he can build from a recruiting standpoint. And you're going to have to watch Michigan State from a recruiting standpoint, especially Notre Dame fans in the next 3 to 5 years, because they're going to be recruiting the same kids in the Midwest that Notre Dame and Ohio State are going to be going after, especially in the state of Michigan. And Notre Dame has stolen in the last 5 years some of the top guys from the state of Michigan because, Mark D'Antoni was on his way out, and Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, really, they've struggled or haven't exceeded or reached expectations. So when you talk about that, you're talking about going get retreads like a Bob Stoops or maybe getting a Mark Stoops to leave Kentucky, which I think he's done a really good job at Kentucky. It's a really physical team. They're built on defense. They run the ball. Of course, he can't get the same talent to Kentucky that all the other top-tier teams can get in the SEC, but I think he's done an admirable job working the JUCO route when he first came and then the transfer portal. And, he's turned the program into a perennial 8 to 9, 10 win team. So maybe you look at somebody like that has the Stoops pedigree to make a change and go from Kentucky to go to LSU. Maybe it's somebody like that. You look at somebody like Dan Mullen, who left Mississippi State with tons of credibility. And now you look at what that Florida program is at, and now you have to wonder, like, okay, is he really ready to be able to coach and lead a big-time program in the SEC? So
it's definitely not an easy task.
No,
that's not an easy task.
No, it's not an easy task, and that's why, as much as we poke at Brian Kelly, we give him his flowers.
Oh, for sure.
Because what the program was when he got here, and what the program is now, and what we tell fans now is like, have the expectation of a national championship every year. That's where the program is at.
That's where we at.
We're thinking national championship every year.
Michigan State's not thinking that, though.
No.
Michigan State's thinking, we're going to be a consistent winning team like Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State expectations championship. Alabama's a championship. Clemson's a championship. I think it's because Clemson is not championship. They're not even going to be ranked. They don't even want to be ranked.
Yeah.
So only 3 or 4 teams are national championship expectation. We're one of those. Florida, no, they're just looking to be consistent. LSU looking to be consistent.
Is there 10 programs that have national championship expectations?
It's only 3. I would say it's only 3
right now, like Bama, Georgia,
us.
Hey, you can throw Clemson. Ohio State.
So that's 4. Yeah, Bama, Georgia, Clemson, us. Yeah,
and Clemson has gotten to that point because of Dabo.
Now, I mean they've won a couple in the last 5-6 years, so they're thinking that. I don't know if they would. I don't think everybody in the country would think that now, but they're thinking that as a program.
Could Dabo be a candidate to bounce? Like, does Dabo look at an LSU and look at the recruiting base of those southern states along the Gulf and say, man, it's a lot easier to get kids to come there than to come to South Carolina? Because he's proven he can attract the quarterback.
Well, I think it just comes down to what does he prefer. I think he's real comfortable in Clemson, even though it's a down year. I think it's just exaggerated because they've been good for so long.
Right.
Like you can only imagine what they would treat Nick Saban like if they were having a bad year. So it's just about preference. I really think he loves where he's at. I think he would consider it if it was for Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think if it was Notre Dame opening, he would consider. LSU just is almost like a trap coaching job because it's so nice, but it's so treacherous at the same time. Towing the line about taking a risk for that. You know, some guys like their little setup. You know, that's why our guy Kevin Sumlin felt comfortable over in Arizona for a long time.
Right, right. You mentioned Matt LaFleur. If and when Brian Kelly does decide to move on or step away, I expect Matt LaFleur to be contacted.
Oh no, he loves the NFL. Matt LaFleur would never.
Yeah, he loves NFL, but life without that dude number 12 might feel totally different.
Now he's been fortunate to be around Robert Griffin, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan for a long time, but you know, Matt LaFleur is just an NFL guy. He's not interested in the whole recruiting thing.
Should be interesting, man. Like Dabo was at 8.3 per. If LSU cuts that check for like 10, 11.
LSU gonna have to cut a check because if you look at Mel Tucker as an option, which is a great option for the now, they're securing everything with potential. So you're gonna have to come with a heavy or a blank check if you want to secure anybody decent. This is anybody decent. We only see Mel Tucker pop on the scene a couple years.
Yeah.
So if they locking that up with 10 years, 95 million, then anything really good is going to be at least, the market is at least 100, 120.
Yo, when you think about that, that really might, I mean, I know most of these programs have, you know, LSU and USC especially, have deep pockets.
Oh, USC got to spend some bread because they running out of options.
But like if you're trying to go big time, you're absolutely right. Mel Tucker has definitely reset the market. Yeah, like
at the right time. He's at the right time. Is he Nick Saban in the next? I don't know. But
because let's just say Bob Stoops comes out of retirement.
But that's the thing, coming out of retirement, all these people out here coaching every single day. You gotta, I don't know.
Well, Bob Stoops has a brand and national champion. It is a national champion. I mean,
do kids care about that?
Say it again.
Do kids care about the name?
No. I'm not talking about the kids right now. Now I'm talking about the schools and where they have to start the negotiating that now based upon Mel Tucker's contract with big time hires or big time coaches. Like if you're trying to go and get Dabo to leave, you have to start above what Mel Tucker got. Like,
oh yeah, you got to start above that because they're gonna be like, I'm way better than Mel Tucker,
right?
If you Dabo.
You know, so that's like you said, you're talking about 120 mil.
It's like a quarterback race at this point. Mel Tucker's like Dak Prescott, went in there, got his couple. You know,
bet on himself, left Colorado.
Yeah, so he's the Dak Prescott right now of the coaching circuit in college football. Now they got to come with a heavier bag, like when Lamar's coming down the pipeline.
Man, Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am Shaun Davis. This is with my guy, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We're discussing power moves, coaching carousel based upon Mel Tucker's 10-year, $95 million contract that he received from Michigan State. Kudos to him. We're both happy that he chose not to go to LSU and to stay at Michigan State. It is a nexus, I believe, to the future of the Notre Dame program and who would succeed or who can succeed Brian Kelly, you know, because Marcus Freeman, maybe not this year, but next year, definitely after the season, more than likely is going to be one of those hot candidates for any coaching position. Honestly, I would expect USC to come sniffing around this year, quietly, at least for an interview.
Yeah, I mean the coaching game different. You can just openly go after other people. It's not as player different. Players is a little different how they can be contacted with coaches. It's just a phone call away. That's back when we had rumors of Coach Kelly getting calls from NFL teams or vice versa. It's just you can just get a call. That's why.
Yeah, it's par for the course, right?
Yeah, so it's just interesting to see what the ransom will be. Who wants to get on the challenge, because it is a challenge, because it's frustrating. You're dealing with having talent naturally. You just don't have a great roster each and every year just off of talent alone. But the mystery of why it can't be consistent is still a mystery.
Yeah.
And for a coach to take that on probably is intimidating, considering, look at Florida State. And and our guy that had a short stint there when we thought they were turning the program around. What's his name? I'm trying to think. Guy from Oregon.
Yeah, that's
Slipping my mind right now.
Right now as well.
Coach from Oregon went to Florida State, but it was an attractive job. He was
the guy that Mike Norvell took over for, right?
Right. It was like, he was hot coming out of Oregon, had Oregon.
Willie Taggart.
You would have thought that was a perfect fit down at Florida State. And it just, I don't think they gave him enough time, but it didn't fizzle out how it should have. But you would have thought that would have been the perfect hire. You know what I mean? So,
from a recruiting standpoint, it might have been a perfect hire. But this, you know what? This isn't the advantage. Let me tell you the advantage Notre Dame has, yo. You go to all of these schools that are like in speed states, like Texas, California, Florida, right? They focus on getting all of these athletes, all these fast guys. And their offensive lines are always subpar. Always subpar, right? The only exception, probably USC always had a pretty good offensive line, especially during the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush days.
Yeah.
And they usually produce tackles that go on to the NFL.
Yeah.
Along the offensive line. Yeah. But these speed states, man, the offensive lines struggle. And if they just don't have an abundance of talent where they can just outspeed you to death, like you can just pound them. Yeah. You can just line up and pound them. And, Reggie talked about that yesterday when we talked to him about the 92 Sugar Bowl. It's like Shane Matthews had all of this speed, but it's like, you keep punching them in the mouth and they don't have the horses up front. You neutralize all of that speed. So I think Nick Saban has done a great job on both sides of the ball establishing that. Look, man, you can have all the talent in the world, a quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back. That front four and offensive line ain't on nothing. And that's the advantage that Notre Dame has, having the moniker of O-line U, tight end U. It's like you just keep bringing monsters in.
Yeah, and it's surprising that for the SEC to be or kind of still is a run-heavy sort of conference, to not have the linemen that you would necessarily want to see. It is surprising because, the talent is there. LSU had Justin Jefferson. You got Jamar Chase, even a tight end that left and went to Georgia, Eric Gilbert. They got talent all over the place. But then you look at the offensive line, you can't name one offensive lineman that came from there.
No.
Even with the years that they were really good. Even with Joe Burrow's year, I couldn't name you one offensive lineman from Joe Burrow's year. Couldn't name one in the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because it goes back to development. That's why I'm like, I got to take it easy saying Notre Dame's line is no good. Because even with a no good O-line, we still know Kane Madden. Kane Madden would probably be a starter and a highlight for LSU.
Okay. That's 5 seconds. Lucky Lefty podcast. I had to stop watch on you, bro. I had to put it on you.
But that's true. We even know his name just because
Yeah.
he goes to Notre Dame. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So it's upset. It's kind of a catch-22 thinking that the SEC is the best conference, but they have the least that you would want from O-line. Even Oklahoma puts out more O-linemen than these SEC O-lines, and Oklahoma's Oklahoma, you know. So
Yeah.
it's surprising.
So when you look at it and you talk about the coaching carousel and how it plays out, ultimately, who do you think LSU and USC end up with?
I think USC still trying to ride that young, hot Sean McVay wave. They're trying to find a young guy. I think LSU is tired of chasing that. They want to go back to the age of the Rich Rodriguez, right, or Les Miles years where he was an older guy, maybe a little fiery like Ed Orgeron, but less honoring. Maybe more focused on ball, maybe a traditional coach. That's why I think Jimbo Fisher is probably a prime guy, especially since they just beat Alabama this year with a team that nobody thought they would win with. So
Yeah.
that just gives Jimbo Fisher more of a look at me target on his back for the coaching position. But other than that, it's not too many other people that qualify. Even though over Ed Orgeron, if you're trying to get better than Ed Orgeron right now in college football, is really hard unless you come in with a mega check, and that's just hard to do as well.
All right, let's move on, man. We got the Petty Train coming up for you guys. If you have nominations for the Petty Train, someone that did or said something crazy in sports, pop culture, music, whatever, life in general, whether you saw it on social media, go ahead, put it in the comments, and we'll throw them on the Petty Train this week. Now, I saw this, man. I know we both watch I Am Athlete, the podcast that Brandon Marshall has. They had a great conversation about Joe Gibbs, legendary NFL head coach for the Washington football team, that started bringing former NFL players into the pit crew. Like, this is crazy, right? Like, you never thought about how athletic you have to be and how strong you have to be in a NASCAR pit crew. Those are some big tires. They weigh a lot. And when you start increasing the speed, loading the tires, and getting everything so the car can get back on the track, it just made sense to have really athletic guys in that pit crew. What would you do? Like, what other sport would you translate to based upon how you were able to move on the football field? If it wasn't NASCAR, would you try to be an Indy driver, or do you think you would do something else that's kind of like off the radar?
Man, it's hard not to say basketball.
Yeah,
but
sweet stroke.
Man, I was really a basketball player growing up because just maybe it's a Midwest thing, but football too. But
Thanks.
Basketball was just it for me because I was left-handed, so I just felt like I always had an advantage. But if it wasn't basketball, I think I would do bowling. I think if just thinking about my strengths, a left-handed bowler is pretty nice. So I'll probably try to get into bowling real serious.
I had a mean little curve.
Yeah. It just looked better, and it's cool, it's chill. You can win some money. I think bowling would have been my thing for real.
So what do you think? You like third arrow, second arrow when you throw on your hook?
I like to be wide because I like the show of the get the wrist work and let the ball really tote the line of the gutter and then come back. That's always been my kind of flavor.
You like to take the risk.
Yes, and I love bowling shirts, man. I gotta start wearing my bowling shirts. I love the bowling shirts.
Man, it was so crazy, but it was an amazing story. Joe Gibbs, man, a visionary as a head coach in the NFL and just becoming a visionary with Gibbs Racing and NASCAR. And one of the interesting things is that they would have to take the tire off the car and then walk it over to a guy that would pull it over the barrier. And these NFL guys, once they got down there, they were so strong, they just started bouncing the tire over the barrier.
Yeah.
Like just forget, like to shorten the time, like
Good time.
boom, bouncing it. And some of the other teams that didn't have these players started complaining. Why? Because their guys couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
weren't strong enough. And, they actually made up a rule now that there has to be a transfer over
Wow.
the area.
They gonna come up with them rules if it ain't your man.
Recruit. So, man, I just thought it was interesting seeing that. And,
But it just shows you if we really wanted to play other sports for real, they would have to make a lot of other rules.
Yeah. And one of your teammates you talked about, former teammates you talked about, I think it was Steve Elmer left after what? Was that his
Steve wanted to go be a politician, man, serve the people, man. Good for him. He was my roommate. Good dude.
That cat Steve was just like, I'm out.
It was unexpected. He didn't tell nobody. He was all right. Thanks for the time. I'm out of here, man. I'm about to go do this. Everybody's like, wait a minute. He just didn't show up. He was just like, yeah.
It was like middle of this, like towards the end of the season.
But that's a Notre Dame player for you. Just like just decides, you know what, guy, I'm gonna just step away and take a life into politics. Like what?
Like, how do you do that?
I wonder what Nick Saban would say to Steve Elmer if he just like, Nick Saban's counting on his guard that's potentially draftable, high draft pick.
Yeah.
His guard coming into next season, ready to take over, and he call you on the phone right before camp. Like, hey coach, I'm gonna just I'm done, man. I'm gonna wrap it up. Go ahead, jump into politics, man. I'm see you later.
That's crazy. That'd even be funnier.
Yeah. But that's how he did it. Everybody was like, wait a minute.
What if one day somebody was like, yo, I got a record deal?
Players.
Def Jam just gave me $10 million.
I know players that will leave. It's about what guys like, man. Nowadays guys are multifaceted.
Yeah.
They want to do the crypto thing, all types of stuff.
Let's get to it, man. Let's put some people on the petty train. I want to put the Big 12 on the petty train, yo. They reprimanded the Texas Tech. Texas Tech won a game by kicking a 62-yard field goal to beat Mike Campbell and Iowa State, right? And right before that, there were some plays, some illegal procedures that pushed the field goal back a little bit further. And the announcer for Texas Tech said, man, the Big 12 really wants Iowa State to win this game. So, you know what I'm saying? So he's being a homer. I mean, he's being a homer. And they fine.
If anywhere in Texas is where they gonna be the most homers.
Yeah, he's being a homer, so they find him. It's like, all right, but I gotta throw the Big 12. These conferences, man, finding teams, especially the Big 12 SEC for storming the field. And they're just doing too much, man. They see the demise of the NCAA, and they're getting more and more power in these conferences, these ivory towers, and these presidents.
That's what we need. We need to meet on the Lucky Lefty podcast right here. We're going to make the announcement. We're making the first new NCAA. We're going to call it the something else, but it's going to be a super conference. We just going to have people sign up. We're going to have great rules, relaxed. You can do what you want over here in our league. Because the NCAA is just a league. You don't have to sign up for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, that's who I have. You got anybody this week to put on the petty train?
Man, Boomer Esiason was on the petty train for me. Had Cam just get back on the team. Boomer Esiason, they ain't making the playoffs. He can't throw. He need to run because he definitely can't hit guys on target. I'm like, good grief.
They're literally in the playoffs as of today.
Yeah, I know. But before the Cardinals game, Esiason had a lot to say, man. Real disappointed in his cold hot takes. His cold hot takes definitely prove them wrong, man. I hope he go in there and start and lead them in the playoffs. That's all.
All right, so those are additions. Unless anybody else types some in, those are the additions to the petty train this week. The Big 12 conference, and of course, I knew Cam Newton was going to spark someone.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? I just knew he was going to spark someone with the way he came back.
They couldn't let the clothes go by unnoticed.
Yeah. Let's get to it, because this will be quick. And these have been the quickest previews the last 3 weeks because
We ain't about to waste no time on this.
these teams are so just awful. Just awful to watch, which goes to my point. We talked about it last week. I still think we need to take a game away and offer it to another conference. Like take an ACC game away because the conference is, especially if Clemson is going to be bad. Take a game away and offer it to like the Big 12.
We couldn't go anywhere else though.
Man,
that's unless we go Big 10, but we really couldn't go nowhere else. You know,
that's crazy. Georgia Tech comes in. We don't know who's going to be their quarterback. It might be the freshman, Jordan Yates, true freshman. Might be Jeff Sims. We beat them 31-13 last year down in Atlanta. And Notre Dame played a really bad game. Like, lost the turnover battle. Made Georgia Tech feel like they were in the game. And Notre Dame really had control because that defense, that Notre Dame defense, and Spike, Ian Book, and the offense playing a lackluster game really held that game in control the entire time in spite of the multiple turnovers. So more than likely on the road, I expect to see Jeff Sims get the early call. He's the veteran. They average 29 points a game. For all you bettors out there, it's a 17.5-point spread. Now, the spread last week was 21, and I didn't expect Notre Dame to cover that. I thought Notre Dame would put up points, but, we were still waiting to see if Brennan Armstrong would play. And, of course, Notre Dame covers, and I pushed away from the table. This week, 17.5, I'm going to go ahead and say lay some on the Irish. Lay some money on the Irish. If you're scared doing it, you can do it on the money line, maybe get you a little something, and definitely play Notre Dame in the first half. Definitely play Notre Dame in the first half. I think they're going to come out really, really strong at home. And I don't think this would be one of those senior days where you let a team linger around. I think they jump on Georgia Tech early because the Georgia Tech defense is really bad. I'm talking really bad. Defensive backfield is really bad. They're small up front. You can crease them in the running game, and they're susceptible to big plays over the top. So it's really a smorgasbord. Like everything you can have or want as an offense, once again, Tommy can come out and say, man, woo, which play? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you feel like you have a Tecmo Bowl playbook where it's limited. Yeah. And in other games, you feel like, yo, this is that Madden playbook, where it's like all types of plays and sheets. And that's what Tommy has to feel like, man. He can just have a variety of things. He'll showcase a lot of guys because, honestly, it's senior day, but it might be Kyron's last game in that stadium.
Yeah.
It might be Cal Hamilton. Cal Hamilton won't play, but it's definitely the last game.
Kyle done.
It's the last game.
It's 5 weeks now, 3-4 weeks. Yeah, he's done.
Yeah. And so
he's past the whole point of maybe. He ain't coming back.
So what about you? That's senior day experience for you. Like, what was that? Even though you still went on and used your grad transfer, what was that like for you?
It was a little bittersweet. I was excited that, I hit the end of the road. I felt like I challenged myself going through those years there. I saw through those challenges and did some good things from it. A lot of adversity, a lot of things that I learned, life lessons in dealing with things, and proud of myself from getting to that point because not everybody make it through from freshman year to senior year. And I came in early, and felt like I got better, and had an opportunity to do a lot of great things. So it was bitter only because it was 4-8 season that year. We was losing. I still wasn't getting my chance to really save the season. Shit, it was a lot of times we could have saved the season. So
right.
I just felt like it was, it was a messed up situation, and senior day was just emotional. I was like, dang, because I felt like we could have beat Virginia Tech that week. I got put in the craziest thing. I got put in the last play of the game, literally the last play. Didn't play the whole time. For the Hail Mary that half the team was running Hail Mary, half the team was running something else. And it was just like, bittersweet moment, but just getting a chance to meet a lot of friends and play a lot of teams and see a lot of guys that's playing today on Sundays. Couldn't ask for a better run at it.
So we have somebody here that said there was talk of an LSU jet landing in South Bend. Bless you, my boy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Jet landing in South Bend today and also landed in Ann Arbor. Please, Lord, let us keep Freeman and Kelly goes. Let me tell you something. First of all, if that jet landed in Ann Arbor and Harbaugh had the audacity to leave Michigan, man, he might have to go into witness protection.
That's almost as bad as Josh McDaniels faking out the Colts.
Yeah, he would have to go into witness protection. But I'll tell you one thing, and this might be a hot take, but I'm gonna be honest with you. In a lot of ways, if Brian Kelly decided to go to LSU, it really wouldn't hurt the program.
No, not right now.
It wouldn't hurt the program.
It wouldn't like 3 or 4 years later.
No,
not right now.
It wouldn't help. It wouldn't hurt the program. It wouldn't be like, somebody like Nick Saban retiring or Dabo.
Nick Saban.
Dabo leaving Clemson, something like that. Dabo leaving Clemson would be devastating.
They would tank for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That would be devastating. Sure. If Brian Kelly somehow, some way decided to go somewhere else, I don't think it would be that devastating.
You'd be like, because he built it so well, it could be ran without him for a little bit.
But once again, we always tell people the brand is the brand.
The brand gonna stay the brand, but
the brand is the brand. Like
the brand was the brand, but the team wasn't always good when the brand was the brand.
No, that's why you have to get a really good coach to do what he's doing. But you can get a competent coach in here, and every now and then they'll win 10, 11.
They wouldn't win like Coach Kelly though.
No, because Coach Kelly is a really good coach. But if you can go find another really good coach, we can just keep the party going.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing. Like Pete Carroll leaving USC was devastating.
Oh, for sure. Because they haven't had a coach since.
And it didn't hit rock bottom for about 6-7 seasons.
That's how it would be for us. It wouldn't hit. We would definitely have a lull, but it would be like later down the line. Coach Kelly would be done for a while.
It would be a lull if they didn't hire the right guy.
I think it would be a lull regardless, because that's a guy that's been there 10 years, 10 plus years. The impact's gonna hit it at some point. Or unless we was like Ohio State. I mean, Ryan Day stepped in right after Urban.
That's what I mean.
Again, the Big Ten's the Big Ten. We talking about a national schedule that's a little different. Yeah, you play in every conference every year.
Yep. So how much time does Tyler get for this game? Tyler
he should play the whole game. He should play the whole game. But senior year, Jack should play, but Tyler's gonna be in there for sure.
I'm looking for Logan Diggs, man. Look, let's talk about these youngsters for a second, because I don't think people realize like the step. And you can attest to this, how much better of a player you are when you run out of that tunnel for the first game your sophomore year than the previous year. Like when you've had like a full off season.
Oh, yeah, that's when we was going to win the championship.
Right, you had a full off season.
That was my first full off season. I got that. They wasn't playing with my reps. I was taking all the ones. The order was set. We was good. And we was the best team we've had in that run. But the year after, they did the 50-50 thing. I feel like any two quarterback system is no different than a quarterback controversy where you don't know who to play, because at the end of the day, you have to do it the same way in the game. You take a dude out that's hot or cold and doesn't matter, and then you put a dude in that may or may not be ready. So that's why, we're playing a team this week with a quarterback controversy, but in the game, it won't look no different than what we're doing.
Right.
So that's why I don't think it looks good at all to have two guys running out there.
Well, a team like Georgia Tech, man, it really should, at this point in the season, it really shouldn't be a question. I'm playing a freshman.
I mean, that's the cold game of college football.
Like, play the freshman. Like, don't even flirt with Jeff Sims. Go ahead and play the
freshman.
That's
what I say. I say play the freshman. We get a transfer fifth-year guy. So Notre Dame just does it a little different. I think we like developing guys from
Yeah.
freshman year, letting it, traditionally go up the ranks, but
I
it's
mean,
not traditional anymore. Ever
that's
since
usually
Tua
when
threw that touchdown,
yeah.
in championship, it is no longer traditional.
So Ramon Henderson, Xavier Watts, what they've shown at the safety position over the last 2 weeks. Prince Collie got in the game. As you said before, you can see his instincts, you can see his speed, but he's thinking too much. And when you play linebacker, like that half second or that half misstep, you get to the ball a little bit slower.
But that's the thing I'm saying is like he should have been in all season. Like it wasn't a game where I didn't feel like his talent wasn't worthy of playing in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
He could have played against Toledo, could have played against Purdue, could have played against even Cincinnati, because Cincinnati's defense wasn't like Georgia's. It was just a good team. It wasn't like man, we got they got that Kayvon Thibodeau over there. No, it was like, no, they're just a good team. They just fight hard. But Prince Collie could have definitely played, and definitely probably made a play.
He could have got some snaps on the defensive side, and then, like you said, Logan Diggs could have got some snaps at running back.
Yeah, like
early in the season instead of waiting for injuries to get them both in the game. I agree with that. I agree with that because they're trying to flirt. Go ahead and get them their 4 games. You know what I'm saying? Play them their 4 games so they don't feel like they want to transfer, especially the way the transfer portal is right now. Make them comfortable, make them feel like they have a future at the program. And that's cool. But you got guys sitting on the sideline that probably would be better at right guard, but you don't want to play them.
Yeah, they like want to basically refrigerate players for, different seasons. And it's like, dang, if we talking about trying to be in Alabama,
yeah,
those guys got to get in. Now Nick Saban gonna play his starters, but
heck, they up 30 in the third
quarter. 30 though, they get up quick. They play one half and then let the other guys go. So
yeah,
in order for us to get like that, you should have had Prince playing day one. Day one, they're good enough. You can't tell me the guys we got right now starting with like Drew White and them guys are that much more ready than a Prince Collie.
Yeah, Jamie McNeil, we appreciate you. Lucky Lefty Nation. I jumped on ND minus 15 when it opened here in Vegas. That's really dope. It goes from I've seen 15 and a half. I've seen up to as much as 17 and a half for the line. I'm figuring the ND defense will hold GT to 10 points. It's going to be a cold day. I can tell you that. So them boys from Atlanta, Dirty South, it's going to be a totally different day than they're used to. And ND will be able to cover even when Kelly takes his foot off the gas. Expect him to take his foot off the gas.
He really takes his foot off. That I feel like commentators should talk about that in the game. Like, is he really letting off? You can see it. We just start doing just crazy bullshit, like drive killers. Like, why are we running the ball with everybody in the box? Like, come on.
Like before it was 3rd and 6 before they failed on their 4th down. Like they ran like a draw on like 3rd and 6, and I'm like against a full blitz. I'm like,
yeah, like we be doing stuff that's like we know. We just like playing the gamesmanship of, we're Notre Dame. We're gonna let y'all feel like y'all around because it's that's the feeling. We're not gonna embarrass y'all for real. Like, we're too nice. That's probably why we can't beat a Georgia right now, because Georgia's not nice.
No.
You done heard the little halftime speech Kirby Smart done gave them boys. They against Florida. They're not nice guys, and they don't pretend to be. We may have some guys that ain't nice, but we pretend to be nice for sure.
We got another comment from one of our listeners. Dario Jones, our linebackers look so slow against Cincinnati. And man, you can go back and watch all of our content. You definitely
did. We say that? We was like, where is the sideline speed at? Where is that at? I
agree with you. That was the perfect game to put Prince in there. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Nobody on the team right now. There's no reason for them not to have been playing all season. We could have been really rotating guys in like cogs in the system for real. Like, we don't have a bona fide superstar right now outside of Kyron and Kyle Hamilton.
Well,
Other than that,
that's
you
the
can throw
first thing.
anybody in there. Everybody can get in.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing Marcus Freeman saw when he got here. The offers he went out and made to elite linebackers.
Yeah.
Like he watched the film and he was like, nah.
We can't be doing that.
Marcus Freeman was like,
before we kept the linebackers inside the box. We didn't have them leaving the box, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Now your ass better hit them edges and get the dropping and get the playing in space. So Prince Collie is in a better fit than what the linebackers before were asked to do.
Man, that's crazy too. That's crazy. It's so crazy when you look at that game now, man. Desmond Ridder was just like, I'm like, come on, man. This cat should not be getting this edge.
I'm like, where are they at? And they would be running fast on TV.
Yeah.
And just not getting there. Guys would be hitting the edge on us. I'm like, what is going on? Kyle be flying in there. You know, that's why Kyle has so many plays.
And he always looks like he's playing like twice as fast as
everybody else. It was just, that's why Florida State game looked so good. He was just everywhere. We was like, man, he's got range. No, the guys just around him were just not getting there. but Prince Colley's an answer though.
Yeah.
You look at him, okay, he can get around. You talking about what he's thinking about. That we can deal with that. I can deal with that.
I got Demetrius. As you can see, our preview of the Georgia Tech game was really short because there's really nothing to talk about. Cone being in is not the reason we didn't score more. I'm not understanding. Maybe Demetrius expand upon that in the comments.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Are you talking about the Cincinnati game in particular, or any other game in particular, or just in general? I'll speak to the Cincinnati game. He threw a pick in the end zone on the first drive. Just killed all the momentum. So for that game, you can't do that. That you can't do.
That you can't do.
I understand. I think we had a big drop. I think Austin had a drop in that drop.
But having a statement like that is just why we're not winning it this year. We don't. Our quarterback is in not scoring points shouldn't be in the same sense. You see what I'm saying? Nobody in Alabama Nation is saying, man, Bryce Young is not the reason Alabama's not winning, scoring 50 points a game. No, Bryce Young is the reason they're scoring 50 points a game.
He's responding to Christian. I got Christian C in the chat, and Christian C said ND should have kept, I guess he's referring to the Virginia game, should have kept Cone in for the fourth quarter to make it 42-3. Needed the style points for a chance at the playoffs. Well, I mean, Tyler ran down the field and fumbled in the red zone. I mean, they were moving the ball with Buckner. They just lost focus and didn't convert on the opportunities that they had. They had opportunities with the backups.
You said 42-3. So that means you're saying Cone's going to go in there and dice them up for 21 more points?
I mean, that actually should have been easy. Against that Virginia defense.
Cone's gonna give you at best 28, and the defense better play good. You know, if we just say it's solo Jack, 28 is where I'm expecting the ceiling to be hit and defense to be rallying behind that. Even Wisconsin, we scored offensively, we scored a couple, but defensively we were putting us in great position. You know, that we scored defensive touchdowns as well. It got us to 40.
Yeah, and then when you start talking about the linebackers, it's not about just sideline to sideline. When you start adding instincts as well, that impacts the blitzing, the timing on the blitzing, filling the gaps, tackling. All of that becomes much better, and you become much better defensively in all of the fundamentals when you get guys that are rangier and can make certain plays that other guys can. And then you have to, we have Maris Lufau and some guys that we
lost. He's coming back. Maris got some speed to him.
Yeah.
You know, he coming there.
That'll be coming back next year. So, and that was a big loss. That was a big loss as far as playmakers in that front seven.
But was it really? Because we haven't talked about missing Maris all season.
Well, Maris always flashed and made plays, though. It's not like
Do you
one
think
of
he
those
would have
guys
had a
you
JD
talk about.
Bertrand impact?
He's always around the ball.
He is always around.
He's always around the ball. Like, look, whether he's a defensive back or gets moved to safety, our guy's always around the ball. He just doesn't have to play on the ball. He finally made an interception against Virginia, barely keeping it off the ground. But, man, he's a ball magnet. Somehow, some way, he always finds himself around the ball in a position to make a play. And so when you have guys like that, if you get guys like that, especially in the back end, if you got ball hogs, and you play a lot of zone, you got a front seven that can pressure the quarterback and play sideline to sideline, yeah, you got some dogs.
Yeah.
You got some dogs. So, once again, Georgia Tech, Yellow Jackets coming to town, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Senior day, I'm looking for a blowout. I need Drew Pine to get some tick. I need all the quarterbacks to play. We got to get the walk-ons in late in the game. And
it's going to be unfortunate. We're going to get a man the last. We're going to treat him like basketball garbage time.
No. Not with like a minute
first
left.
half is going to be 7 of 17 or something,
I hope not. I hope you're wrong. I really
it'll
hope
be an easy win, but we're not going to be in the catbird position until about the end of the third, start of the fourth, maybe.
So, like you're saying, is like Brian Kelly said after the Virginia game, we were never in trouble.
Yeah, we're not going to be in trouble, but we're not going to be looking in our rear view like, man, we done put a whooping on them boys early. No. Like we probably said, you know what? It's crazy because I think we surprised ourselves scoring so early, 21-3, and that we was like, oh, we good. We're gonna take an easy day off.
Yeah.
And we didn't score nothing but 7 points at the end. We had 21 points in the first felt like 3 minutes and didn't score 7 till towards the end. So it's just like, it just shows we don't want to put the foot on the neck if we had the chance.
All right. It's time for Malik's 3 Keys to a Dub, brought to you by Notre Whiskey, NoraWhiskey.com, premium American whiskey. Let's go. What's the 3 keys to a dub?
3 keys is don't turn the ball over. So this is not the game to let a team hang around. So we got to be able to execute. So no turning the ball over. The second thing is we have to be able to take them out early. I think the Virginia quickness of how we got up 21 took out a lot of the momentum early, and then this time let's work on finishing and closing the casket before the fourth quarter. So I said 21 last week to score first half, and we did it actually. So this week I'm gonna say a challenge. Let's get to 35. Let's see if we get 35 before half, and get everybody in the second half.
35 before half?
Yeah, we saying that. And the last thing, let's just make our tackles and play sound football today. Let's not have a lot of yak or rack or a bunch of arm tackling. Let's be consistent on getting them to play behind the sticks, and that gives us opportunities for more turnovers on defense.
I need 2 touchdowns from both freshman wide receivers.
Okay.
I'm gonna go out there on the limb, right? I think Zoe is easy. It's easy for Zoe to get a touchdown.
Yeah,
because he's that dangerous. Deion Colson, stop bringing him in the block.
That's right.
Throw that 6'3", 6'4" frame, some balls in the red zone, man. Let him go up and get it. Let him be a playmaker. And then Zoe, he can do it on the reverse. He can do it from the slot, whatever route down in the red zone. Let him be that guy that Avery Davis was in the red zone to complete drives and get touchdowns. I want to see both freshman wide receivers scoring touchdowns.
That's right.
Yeah, I want to see other playmakers watching that game saying, oh, man, I can score a touchdown as a freshman in Notre Dame? Yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Big recruiting loss this weekend. Big time recruit at safety Sonny Styles chose Ohio State, which most people thought he would. He's from the state of Ohio. He chose Ohio State over Notre Dame, Alabama, and other SEC schools. So we still have a guy, Xavier Wumpka, who pretty much seems like a lock at this point in time.
Yeah.
Unless something comes up and he just chooses to stay home with Iowa, he'll be your big time get at the safety position. So just keeping you guys caught up on recruiting. Other than that, man, did you check out that deluxe album, the Donda Deluxe?
I haven't yet. I'm gonna get to it. I gotta check out my guy Kanye.
Yeah, man. The joint with Andre Benjamin, which was leaked about Drake. And
that ain't cool now, so they even squashed it.
Man, you know what, man? I'm like Pusha T. I'm not. See, that's some weird stuff, right?
It is kind of weird.
That's some weird stuff. Like, don't have me. That's why I never subscribe to. If you're on my squad and I have an issue with somebody else, I don't need you to have an issue with that person.
Right.
That's my issue. And if you have an issue with somebody else, that doesn't necessarily mean I have an issue with them.
That's right.
Because you never know. I might get back. We might mend things and get back together. Now I mend things. You see them out. You have an attitude. Now we have a whole different thing. And it goes to, like, minding your business when it comes to other people's relationships. Like, hey,
that's Shaun.
I'm not going to be the one to tell.
Either one.
I tell, they end up still being together. Now I look like the jerk.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just best to mind your business.
Man, that cat Jay Prince, dude, must have the magic vocabulary because.
Oh, you got some magic, all right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the vocabulary. It's definitely some leverage that he has.
It's definitely vocabulary spoken, though. He definitely says something, though. That's for sure.
Oh, man. I got Darius Holmes says, definitely want to see those freshmen get in the end zone. Styles had his touchdown last week because of Colsey. Definitely. We should see everybody. Mitchell Evans should get a couple of catches.
Yeah.
Tight end. Hey, put the freshmen in. Let some of the freshmen get in, get some tick over there at right guard. Get the right guard out early. Heck, matter of fact, if you don't want them to play, I'm cool with that.
Straight up.
Blake Fisher, update on him. More than likely, he's going to be back for the bowl game and prepping for the bowl game. I don't think they're going to risk him out of Stanford next week. Woo, man. It's been a long season, my guy. We want to thank everybody that has made this first regular season for us as a podcast and become a part of Lucky Lefty Nation and followed us. We're going to continue to give you more great content. We're up over 300 subscribers, man. We want to keep pushing. As you saw yesterday, we want to get to that availability to be able to have super chats. So we're just reaching to reach the marks that YouTube and YouTube channels has for us to be able to grab those from you guys. We see most of you guys have asked us before, how can you give? We appreciate that. You can give the best right now by subscribing, sharing, and liking all of our previous content, letting other people know about the Lucky Lefty podcast. And then once we get to the point to where we can have super chats and really get you guys involved, we'll look forward to that. And we can do something like we're a part of and give back to the community the way we want to do. And we can do it here in the Midwest and out there on the left coast, the best coast, so they say. So, this week we'll come back. I'm going to find a way to link up with this dude right here, the original Lucky Lefty, and check out his Madden skills because he's been on social media talking that ish.
Yeah, listen.
So I'm going to see if he's real with the stick on it.
I'm actually really good.
I'm going to see if he's real with the stick. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let him because I already know he definitely don't want none when it comes to 2K. That's without.
Yeah. 2K give me too mad.
So I will leave the Madden. We'll leave the Madden. You know what I'm saying? Because I already know I have a feeling who he's probably rocking with. I have a feeling who he's probably rocking with. He reminds me of the type of dude, like you remember when that cat Michael Vick was just plain unstoppable in Madden? Like he just hike the ball and just run a sweep with him.
I got them plays now. I just got them plays.
Okay, you got them plays. You seem like the dude that would go ahead and play with a quarterback that could be mobile, but at the same time launch it down the field.
Hey man, listen. I just play the game the right way, and the cars fall where they may, but I usually fall on top.
Hey, I'm just letting you know. I play with the squad that I cheered for. You know what I mean?
That's okay. That's okay. Y'all can't throw the ball anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all can't throw the ball anyway. I ain't worried about it.
We can't throw the ball.
No.
What you mean?
Okay.
What you mean?
Come on.
If you're talking about you didn't see the game? You know they do update the skills week to week, right? So you know coming off that Pittsburgh game, don't sleep. Don't sleep.
I'm fast asleep.
I know you're gonna have like 2.5 seconds to get rid of the ball. I know that.
Okay. That's okay. That's what I usually do.
Okay. Okay.
It's the lucky lefty, man. Come on.
Yeah. I'm excited too, man. I got my pre-order for my 5.
That's right.
I got my PS5 coming.
Hey, it just changed your experience, man. The whole thing is it's been a great benefit to me, man.
Man, be honest though, when you got it, it was tempting to put that bad fella back out on the market, wasn't it?
Listen.
Hey man, they're going for like 1,700 right now.
They sent me 2, and I had got one off for me. So, it was Christmas early for your boy.
Man, when I saw the bad fellas going retail for a stack, I said, yo.
That's right.
Sony on some bull, man.
It's Christmas.
They played this market with the slow release, the first release being real limited, and then saving everything for Christmas.
You know how they do.
But it's better to get it now because then you'll have more games. It's definitely a better release as far as games.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait though. I'm telling you, dude. I think it's 2 more years because man, I need to get back on the recruiting trail. I can't wait for the NCAA, boy.
Oh man, it's got to come out the right way.
And man, when they drop it, Notre Dame's probably gonna be like nasty.
It's gonna be hard for sure.
Woo! But see, back in the day, I used to run that option with Notre Dame.
I'm running the option now, man. I'm running the option on Madden now. And got crazy skills. So we'll see what happens.
Yo, do you put are you down? Are you one of those people that like to put it on Twitch? Like when you're playing?
I want to get into it. I'm trying to figure out how to do it and stuff.
It's actually pretty cool. There's a couple of guys that I watch that I'm friends with on Facebook. And
do you set like a different, would you like set your computer in front of you as you playing? Like how would you do it? Or is it through the PS5?
No. I mean, you can do it through like your iPad or your phone or anything like that. It's just an app. You download it. They use the camera, or I'm sure you can set it up also through that PS5. I'm sure you can download the app on the PS5. And, the camera, they can, give access to the camera. I don't know, man. I've never done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The last time I played, I had just, with the NCAA 14, I had just gotten into playing people with the headset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never forget my squad, one of my squads. I actually loved playing with Florida State that year.
Mm-hmm.
That wide receiver core was nasty.
Crazy.
And I never forget, I played a dude. I forgot who he played with. And he scored late. And it was 2 seconds on the clock. He went up on me with a late touchdown with 5 seconds on the clock. And this fool, it's funny because I remember sitting there and he's talking garbage through the speaker. And I tell my brother, if this fool actually kicks off, I'm taking this to the house. I just knew he was going to squib it.
Yeah. You took it to the house.
Man, he kicked it deep, took it to the house.
Damn.
And you know those type of dudes that try to, they don't want the loss to go on their record. So they cut the whole system off.
Oh, you making folks quit like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it hurt him. It hurt him.
You a
I could
bad
tell it
man.
hurt him.
That's a bad man.
I could tell it hurt him. No, that was a lucky win, bro. I can't even lie. That was lucky as hell. I just knew. I'm like, okay, because I was pretty good at returning kicks.
The game would do that to you, man.
I was pretty good at returning kicks. So I was like, yo, I know if he kicks this deep, I got a chance to take this bad fella back. Lucky Lefty Podcast with my boy Malik Zaire at Overtime Malik. This has been the mashup of the Slant and Notre Dame Georgia Tech preview game, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Notre Dame Stadium, senior day. Let's go out and get another dub before we go out to Palo Alto.
That's right.
Given weekend and seal this thing up, and then just sit back and wait for the votes to come in, baby. That's all we can do. That's all we can do, right? Because we didn't come out and take care of business against Cincinnati.
We probably gonna see him again or something.
We gotta come. We gotta sit and wait for the tallies. You know what I mean? If we just take care of business against Cincinnati, we would be celebrating.
Playing Georgia
Tech, and getting ready to bang on Stanford and celebrating another berth to the college football playoff. But that's what happens when you put it into the hands of other people.
That's right.
All right, from my guy, Malik Zaire, I am Shaun Davis. We'll see you guys after the game on Saturday for the wrap-up show, Georgia Tech, right here on the Lucky Lefty YouTube channel. Peace out, man.